y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is KIARA. I'm a mom to 3 little girls. I make videos about laundry motivation, cleaning motivation, and grocery hauls. So if you like videos like that, I hope that you would consider subscribing. It's Vlogmas day 12 and I am back with another story time. So today's story time is going to be about my miracle baby. My miracle baby is my middle child, TAMIA, and this is the story of why I call her my miracle child. So it'll make more sense if you go back and watch my video, my story time about losing my dad. So for those who didn't see that video, I will put the iCard right here, but I'm also gonna go ahead and tell a little bit of what I said in that video and then get on with the purpose of this video. So it's March 2018. I'm gonna say the week of the 20th. A lot of stuff went on this week. So, well, backtrack before we get to the week of March 20th. So me and my ex were going through some issues at around this time. Well, it started like back in December up until March. So we were going through some issues and I was completely stressed out. I was just going through so much. Like I was just overly working myself. Like I was working like 60-hour weeks just because, you know, like you just don't want to sit at home and dwell on whatever issues and stuff you got going on. So it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to work. At least I'm gonna be productive about it. Like, even though I'm going through some stuff, I'm just gonna go to work, get the money, whatever. So the week of March 20th, that Monday, I had a doctor's appointment that Monday because I was like, you know what, something's not right with my body. So I want to say like a week ahead of that, or 2 weeks ahead of that, I had just moved into my new apartment, and the first 2 days I was fine. And you know how it is when you move into your first place, you eating out a lot. So the night before, that Saturday night, I had ate, I think, some chicken wings from the corner store and some potato wedges, whatever. And normally, you know, that don't hit. But the next morning I woke up, y'all, I threw it all the way up. And I'm not the type of person that gets sick like off of like food or whatever. Like only time I get sick is when I'm pregnant, because I had already had NYLAH. So at that moment I wasn't thinking that I was pregnant, but I'm like, you know what, let me just schedule an appointment with my doctor just to make sure like nothing's going on with me. I just contribute everything to the stress that I was going through. So I had my doctor's appointment that Monday, and I went into my appointment and I told her everything that was going on. I was just like, I think it's just contributed to stress or whatever. I was like, you know, I'm tired all the time. I threw up one morning or whatever. And she was like, well, it sounds like to me that you're pregnant. I'm like, no, I can't be pregnant. I can't be pregnant. So she was like, well, why don't you just go ahead and just pee in a cup and we'll figure out if you're pregnant or not. So I told him, I was like, I can't really go or whatever. She was like, even if you just give me just like a little bit, I can still test this. So I gave them like the bare minimum, y'all. The bare minimum. And they were able to give me a result. So my doctor came back in the room and she was like, you're pregnant. So I'm laying on the table and I'm like, what? What? I'm pregnant. What? And she like, yeah. She's like, so go ahead and lay on back so we can go ahead and do your annual, you know, your pap smear and all of that, do your exam or whatever. And then we're going to have you go to the other room so we can do a vaginal ultrasound to see how far along you are. So as she was doing the annual exam, she noticed that I had some light bleeding going on. So she was like, do you have a pad on? Which I did, because like I said, y'all, I was so stressed out, I wasn't thinking that I was pregnant, and I had, you know, a little bit of bleeding. So I'm thinking, well, maybe my period just changed. So we go into the other room so they can do the vaginal ultrasound, and she did the vaginal ultrasound, and clear as day, you can see a little little body and a little head and a little heart just fluttering. You see the little heart just fluttering. You can see the baby. So the nurse was looking like, yeah, I see you're bleeding a little bit. Do you have a pad? And I said, yeah, I have one. So she was like, you can go ahead and get dressed and I'll let you know when doctor is ready to talk to you or whatever. So a few minutes go by, my doctor calls me in the office, and my doctor is like, well, the baby looks fine, but you have what we call subchronic hematoma. And give me 1 second, y'all, because I done forgot, because it happened so long ago. So I'm gonna Google it right quick. Subchronic hematoma. I want to be specifically right so y'all can understand what this is. It says subchronic hematoma is bleeding under one of the membranes that surround the embryo inside the uterus. It is a common cause of bleeding in early pregnancy. The main symptom is vaginal bleeding, but some women don't have symptoms at all. So, and it says they discover it in your first ultrasound. So that's exactly what happened. They found out about it during my first ultrasound. So when I heard that, it was just like, okay, well, what does this mean? And she said that it is a 50-50 chance that you could keep or lose the baby. So when I heard that, my heart sort of like dropped to my throat. Like I was trying to swallow my heart, even though my heart down here, it felt like somebody took my heart out and shoved it down my throat, and it's just stuck in my throat. So I leave the doctor's office and I go back home, and I'm telling my ex or whatever what's going on, and we're both sort of like, and both in our feelings about the situation, and I was just sort of like stressed out. And in my mind, it was like, okay, well, every time that I get up and go to the bathroom, I'm gonna think that I'm getting ready to, see a little baby or whatever. So it was terrifying. And then not only that, like I said, going back to losing my dad's story time, this was the week that he had passed. So the week that he was passing, I was threatening a miscarriage. So my stress was like very, very high. My stress was on 10. And every day, going to the bathroom, I'm still seeing this bleeding. I'm still seeing this bleeding. And when I had left the doctor's office, she was like, I want you to come back in 4 weeks, and we're going to check and see if baby still has a heartbeat. So you can only imagine what you're going through those 4 weeks when you're thinking it is a huge chance that the bleeding might stop, but I could come back in here in 4 weeks and we don't see a heartbeat. So sorry, y'all, I don't want to cry about it, but it was a scary, scary moment in my life. But we got to 4 weeks later. I was 8 weeks, almost 9 weeks when I found out. So I was 12, almost 13 weeks when I went back. So went back to the doctor, and we didn't do the ultrasound this time. She ended up just doing the y'all know the little thing where they hear the baby's heartbeat. So she put it to my stomach, and you can still hear the baby's heartbeat. So that gave me reassurance at that moment. Plus the bleeding had stopped, I want to say like a week or so before I had to go back to the doctor. So this is why I call TAMIA my miracle baby, because it was a 50-50 chance that I could have lost her. And not only that, I lost my dad. So I felt like God sent her here as a piece of him leaving, because to me, she looks like my dad. So this is why I call her my miracle baby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see y'all in my next one.